right, we're going to turn now to a story that is getting some renewed attention. All right, today we are talking about something out of Oklahoma. This was in 1921, the Tulsa Race Massacre. In particular, it was on May 31st. There was a violent riot that erupted there in Tulsa. Over the course of 24 hours, a white mob attacked residents there, their homes, their businesses, in a predominantly black neighborhood. It's called Black Wall Street. Estimated that the violence left 300 African Americans killed, with the families of the victims never knowing if and where their loved ones were buried.
And joining us now to tell us more is Reverend Dr. Robert R.A. Turner of the historic Vernon AME Church there in Tulsa. Thank you for coming back on the program, Reverend. And, you know, a big development in this. Earlier this week, that mass grave was found where archaeologists have been searching for those victims of that massacre. I am curious for you personally, what was that moment of discovery like?
Amy and TJ, thanks so much for having me. That moment was surreal. It was filled with sober excitement to actually visibly, bones taken out and to see the coffins. That was a moment that I will never forget. And to hear the press conference where they talked about the number of bodies and coffins that they found, it was quite surreal.
I was surprised, Reverend, how many people, we've been talking about this anniversary, is getting some attention, how many people actually weren't aware of what happened there in Tulsa now 100 years ago. And people, so often in this country, we think of racism in extremes, right? Somebody had to get killed or someone had to say something in particular. And this was an extreme, but now almost 100 years removed and seeing what we're seeing sometimes in the streets and our racial divides, are we really far removed in some of the mindsets in this country from that incident?
No, unfortunately, we are not. I mean, the same racism that tore through Greenwood in 1921 is still tearing through our streets and communities today. We see it ever so presently in the police brutality. What happened here in Greenwood was state-sanctioned terrorism, right? And they deputized members of that white mob. And what we see far too often here in America is police being able to kill black men and women and never face any time in prison. And we even had cases such as that here in Tulsa, the murder of Terrence Crutcher and Joshua Barre and Eric Harris and Jeremy Lake, who was killed by an ununiformed police officer. I mean, so this legacy, this terrible legacy of racism is still present to this very moment.
It is Faith Friday. So we have you here. So you leave us on a positive note. Give us something uplifting we can take into the weekend with everything so heavy that's on our hearts and on our minds.
In my morning devotion this morning, I read how Jesus is the light of the world. And I believe in this dark moment in our country that we ought to always look to the light. I believe that his children and followers of God should be the light to this world, and that light should cast out darkness. So as long as there's one person that has light, that's the beauty of light. It doesn't take but one candle to light up a whole room. And as long as there's one person with the light, you can shine that light on your job, you can shine the light in your family, and the light even in church. And we ought to be that light in this situation, in all of our situations.
I love that. Be the light. That is beautiful. All right. We cannot thank you enough, Reverend R.A. Dr. Turner, for those beautiful words of wisdom that we can carry with us into the weekend. Thank you, as always, for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Roll Tide.
Oh, he had to end it like that. It was going so well, Reverend, so well. Go Dogs, although Roll Tide was quite effective.
That was too good. I didn't know he was going to do it. Even God couldn't keep you two from going at each other.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.